Here we're going to be doing an overview of the inferences about two means and their formulas, specifically where the sigmas are unknown, the population standard deviations are unknown, and they are assumed not equal. So there are some requirements that you need. So the requirements for testing the claim about two populations are as follows. First, sigma 1 and sigma 2 are unknown. The population standard deviations are unknown, and it is not assumed that sigma 1 and sigma 2 are equal. Second, the two samples are independent. 3, both samples are simple random samples. And 4, either or both of these conditions is satisfied. Either the two sample sizes are both large, with the first group being greater than 30 and the second group also being greater than 30, or both samples come from populations having normal distributions, which it would mention within the question itself. So those are the requirements. Now, here are the formulas you would use. First is the test statistic for two means. T which equals this formula here, and what each notation part means in this formula comes from over here, with population 1 being all the ones with the subscript of 1, sample mean, population mean, sample standard deviation, and the size of the first sample. And then population 2 with the subscript of 2, sample mean, population mean, sample standard deviation, and size of the second sample. That is what you would plug into here to get your test statistic. For the confidence interval estimate, you would take the sample mean of the first group and the second group, subtract them, and then subtract it from the margin of error. And then you would also subtract the two sample means together and add the margin of error to get your confidence interval, left and right hand side. To actually find the margin of error itself, you would use this formula down here. E equals T sub alpha over 2, your critical value for T, multiplied by this, which again, these notation in here is the same as what's up here. So using this formula here, you would get the margin of error. Now, if you would like, you do not have to use the formulas. You can actually use a calculator to get the test statistic and the confidence interval. And you can do that using a calculator, the TI-83 and 84 specifically. So if you were to do the hypothesis test, you can use a two-sample t-test, and when you do that, you would actually get your test statistic t from this. And if you want to find the confidence interval, you can use two-sample t-int, two-sample t-int for the interval. So using both of these options down here in your calculator, you can get the answers that are up here in from these formulas.